Speaking of giving people $40 a piece or something, $40, I guess. Arkham Knight has a season pass of DLC, which has a lot of stuff in it, a bunch of different things.
Yeah. So last week, we bemoaned the fact that I don't know. Did we talk about the price last week?
It's like $40 in addition to the price of the game.
So
right?
that was the whole thing last week. Was that this was they announced the season pass for $40. And they went radio silent on what's in it.
On what yeah. But
and so they're just like, give us your $40, and everyone's like, well, what? Like for what? And they're just like, it's gonna have some stuff. And so there was this massive outcry, despite the fact that like everyone loves Rocksteady, like everyone is excited for this game. There was this outcry. Well, no, like tell me what it is first before I give you 2/3 of the price extra of this video game.
Right.
So here's what it is.
Yeah.
You get Batgirl, A Matter of Family, which is an all-new prequel story expansion in an entirely new location where you play as Batgirl for the very first time in the Arkham series. Check out the first render of Batgirl. I can't click that link because it's a piece of paper.
I'm assuming, they say by prequel story because in the games, Oracle's already wheelchair bound,
right?
Like post-Killing Joke events. So I'm imagining this is when she wasn't.
I like the idea of an entirely new area. By the way, I feel like a lot of these, like the Catwoman stuff, was always kind of a retread of the same areas you were already in.
The Season of Infamy, you play as Batman in all new story missions featuring legendary supervillains invading Gotham City with new story arcs, missions, and gameplay features. That is really very vague.
That's super vague.
Super vague.
Yeah.
Stuff.
That's super vague in terms of they probably haven't started building this yet.
Yeah.
So they're like, there's got to be a bad guy and a mission.
I mean, they say story missions, but it's like that could be like
in
a challenge mode.
A story
that
arc,
they kind of,
a story arc could be
missions.
cutscenes
Yeah.
or just exposition.
To me,
go over here
next.
Yeah, it sounds like they drop. There's a newspaper clipping and they drop Killer Croc on the map somewhere, and you have to go across the city and fight him. That's cool. It's fine.
Then there's Gotham City stories. You play as Batman's key allies in narrative missions. This is different from a story mission, apparently, extending their storylines from both before and after the events in Batman Arkham Knight.
Or is it
as Alfred?
A story mission extending their narrative?
Do you want to play as Alfred?
I do want to play. Yeah.
Wow, you just want to deliver things?
Oh, yeah, I just want to play
like
as Alfred.
Tapper
Totally.
almost.
Yeah, just like Tapper.
Just like Cooking Mama, but it's with
Master-
like,
I was just thinking that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Benedict.
Butler
he
Mama.
brings out a meal and Batman's just like, I'm not hungry.
but it's all like really, it's
And
like really gritty. He's got like carbon fiber tuxedo on.
Yeah,
he's just
yeah.
like
Out there. It's
he's
like
just totally ripped.
Pours
I
hot
love
tea
that.
on criminals. And they run
I
away.
like how there's a bunch of different mini games. It turns into like Trauma Center when you have to like get the bullets out of Batman's side.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
You have to tell a riveting anecdote about a ruby the size of a tangerine.
We're joking, but I would totally play this game.
I would.
This sounds great.
I love it. It'd be like the karaoke in Sleeping Dogs, but with like a Michael Caine accent. You know?
I love that.
Just you got to get the intonation, you got to get the gravitas right. Then of course they're legendary Batmobiles with themed tracks. Drive the most iconic Batmobiles from Batman's 75-year history on custom-built racetracks, each themed to that Batmobile-specific era. Every Batmobile will be drivable across every racetrack. Bat Mario Kart? Are you kidding me?
I think it might be more like Bat Turismo. Yeah, this is great. This is, I mean.
Have you seen the tracks in this game though? Like, have you seen? Because they're like challenge tracks. They're these weird like mini missions where it's sort of like the Riddler puzzles where you're like.
But you're a car.
At least last I saw, yeah. So it's basically like you got to use your missiles or whatever to flip a switch that makes a jump pop up and stuff.
Yeah.
So
it's
it does
actually
not.
interesting.
That sounds
like,
awesome.
It
It's
does
like
not look like Gran Turismo.
So
car platform.
It reminds me of what's that game? Split Second.
Oh man.
Did you guys play that racing game that was like event? It was like a event-based racing game.
Yeah. Oh, that was interesting. I forgot about that game.
A lot of people did.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. It depends on the Batmobiles. I would love to see like an Adam West era Batmobile done in that engine.
Yeah,
'cause that
I
would
imagine they'll do that. They'll go back to that iconic Tim Burton one. Hopefully not the Tumbler. I think the Tumbler's dumb.
I think the Tumbler's dumb too, and I actually think
Dumbler.
that
I think it's the Tumbler.
What do you guys got against the Tumblr?
It just looks dumb.
There's too many tweens posting on
what's the
there.
one with all the triangles coming off? Is it Batman and Robin?
Batman Forever has the
where you can like
three-way one.
Yeah, that one I really like.
And I like the one. Yeah, I think Batman Forever or Robin where you can see sort of like the blue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Now,
those
those
like the
inside.
neon mobile.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those are
that's-
bad movies. Really cool Batmobiles.
If they really want to make me just be like throw $40 at them as fast as I can, they would use the unused concept that H.R. Giger did for Batman Forever, where the Batmobile just looked like if you could have a four-ended dildo. And it was also a boomerang.
Are we?
I think I don't.
There have been 4 Saints Row games. You can say dildo on a podcast.
Yeah.
He's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Judges.
Wait, so I want to talk a little bit. So you edit the audio version of Beyond. What do you do for swears? Because I got a lot of tweets saying, "Awesome job on adding the animal noises to swears."
So here's
and
what
I was
happened.
Like, That wasn't me, and I don't know what
I
version
normally
you're
just
talking
use
about.
I just use beeps because
Okay.
it's a lot easier. But Alexia, who does the video,
Yes.
throws in apparently animal noises. And last week Brian's mic was screwed up, so I just stole the audio from him, and he'd already put in cat noises for the curses. So
instead of like what you just said, somebody might just hear hee-haw or something like that.
Yeah.
Basically.
Mostly cats, yeah. If you can find a cat that does that, then shoot it.
all right. So back to business. Batman crime fighter challenge maps are a thing. These are of course
Get
different.
so exceedingly big.
Engage in a series of new challenge maps utilizing the unique playstyles of Batman and his allies.
The next one's just gonna be extended gameplay.
Character
I mean,
Mechanics.
you guys know what challenge maps are, right?
Yeah.
I assume it's the same ones from the last
Like
few.
the challenge.
Those are the ones that I'm always like, I'm pretty good at this game, and I play those, and I'm like, no, I'm not.
Yeah. Those are almost like puzzles.
Yeah,
they
they're
really feel
really
more like
difficult.
a puzzle. Than
They get
anything.
really difficult.
Then there are character skins. So a variety of skins from across the eras of Batman, Robin, Nightwing, and Catwoman. I always like that because it's like getting to hire a different art director. Mm-hmm. You just go in there and you're like, oh, it's like Frank Miller Batman. That's cool. It's a big muscly Batman Beyond.
I want a Carl Weathers skin.
I want a Batman the animated series skin, but for the entire game.
For the whole game,
Yeah,
yeah.
just
yeah.
a
Draw it
filter.
on black
Yeah.
paper and so yes, let's just play that.
Yeah, I
game.
want
Right.
that too.
One of
They always
amazing.
give us that costume, and I'm like, that's awesome.
Yep.
But he's still in that kind of like Nolan-esque, gritty, realistic.
Going back to
Yeah.
ukulele for a second, one of their stretch goals which they hit were a filter to play the game in 64-bit. So it's going to look like an N64 game.
Oh,
Does that just like mean like smearing Vaseline all
Pretty
over
much,
the screen?
yeah. Just
because of
destroying depth of field.
the
and-
terrible
Wow.
texture cache on the N64,
Yeah.
like playing
Wow.
itself out.
Cool. So
Yeah.
what do we think about Batman's? You know what took them so long to get back what was in that season pass is they had to go find a thesaurus for how many words for story they could find.
Yeah. No, this is
Story
great.
challenge narrative mission quest.
Like this stuff sounds cool. The Batgirl thing sounds awesome. $40 is pretty steep on top of a $60 game. I think the big story here though is I think this was an actual example of public outcry working.
I was just going to say that. I was just going to say that I don't necessarily condone moaning and crying and screaming over something you don't like, but that kind of worked here.
Yeah, so it's one of those like it was crappy of them to be like, have that's $40 but no details, and everyone said this is sort of dumb. Like this is the first time you guys have dropped the ball with your games.
Yeah, that was exactly it. Like
And-
it wasn't like an EA thing where people are just or Ubisoft where people are so used to complaining about
Yeah.
those things.
Yeah.
This was just like, come on, we're supposed to love you guys.
Yeah,
You're
like, what do you
Rocksteady.
do? Yeah,
Like,
we're not mad. We're disappointed.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they came back less than a week later, and we're like, "Hey, so we heard that some people wanted more details, and here are details. So good on them."
It,
Yeah,
it reminded me of when to me, if it had no one said anything, then it just sort of becomes the norm to A, have $40 DLC, and B, have $40 DLC where you don't even announce what's in it.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of the PS3 launch where they were like, it's $599 US, and everyone was like, ha! And had they not laughed and screamed, it would just been $600 consoles would have been the norm. And
Yeah.
we'd be
Yeah.
paying that left and right now.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we didn't get to that weird.
There's a time to yell and
Dystopia,
scream.
so-
You don't need to be mean, and you don't need to be myopic when you yell.
Yeah.
But you can do that constructively, and it looks like people did.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's going back to the Kickstarter thing. This is one of the best things about the internet is that it is a real time, like audience, customer base reaction,
Yeah.
whatever that thing is. We do listen to your complaints, dear readers, dear listeners.